Hey, welcome back to Planet Hex. I'm Andrew Horn. This is a show where I talk about a lot of VHS culture, a lot of retro movies, a lot of cult movies, a lot of stuff about video stores, comics, games, music, the writing life, and a bunch of other things that scratch the retro itch. Did that in one breath. No practice. Can you tell? On this episode, I'm going to go through some recent watches, and I'm going to go through some retro culture that I found online. This week's batch of VHS culture that is out there. People are still going on about this stuff, and I'm delighted about that. I'm thrilled about that. You know me, I wrote the books, the VHS-8mybrain books, there's another one of those coming, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, let's talk tapes, let's talk retro movies, let's talk stuff that's been going on recently. As you can see here, I've been watching, damn it, VHS Halloween. I love the VHS movies, just, you know why, come on, really, I had to, really. This one is a bit more funny than some of the others. Like my favourites are ones like VHS 94, VHS Beyond. I think those are really, really cool. But this one has a lot more silliness in it, especially the one about trick or treating with all the you'll see. There's some ridiculous things in this, but it is just a great watch as well. If you are a fan of the VHS movies, I do hope you enjoy this one as well. It's going expecting something a bit more, not childish, but a bit more playful than previous entries, but there are still lots of scares to be had and lots of unsettling visuals. Also, I checked out Crawl Space, which is a Klaus Kinski movie. It was made by Empire Pictures. Charles Band from Full Moon was involved with that. I love that stuff. And it's one I've not seen in many years. And this is about Klaus Kinski with his big scary face, who owns a building, and he crawls through the crawl space and watches all the people and observes their lives. And it's very sinister. It's billed as a horror movie. It's more like a thriller or a giallo, but it does have some horror elements in it. And apparently, according to legend, Klaus Kinski was so difficult during the making of this that one of the Italian producers almost hired someone to off him. Apparently, that's so legend has it. So that's an interesting one. But yeah, it can't have been an easy film to make this. It's quite harrowing, but worth a watch. I've also watched Screamboat. Yeah, that one. With David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown from the Terrifying movies, portraying Steamboat Willie, i.e. Mickey Mouse. So this was the movie that was announced the day after the rights to the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse became public domain. So this is from a public domain character, and it's a slasher on a boat with David Howard Thornton as a pint-sized protagonist, killing people and doing lots of noises at the same time. So if that scratches your itch, go and scratch it. Whatever. It's ridiculous. Some of the effects are really bad. Some of the kills are very inventive, though, and there's a great deal. There is a great sense of tension in it, but you don't really realise that he's like this big or like knee high until quite well into the film. I just kind of assumed he was full size. But anyway, there is a recreation of the famous Steamboat Willie driving the boat, which is. It's very different to the original, shall we say, but worth a look if you like tongue-in-cheek nonsense, which I do. So after that, I had to go and watch something decent. So I went back to 1985 for Vampire Hunter D. This is magnificent. Yeah, the animation is dated, but the mix of science fiction, gothic horror, action and intrigue, and really oppressive atmosphere, it still works. It still works really, really well. I'm glad it's out there. Yeah, there are other versions of Vampire Hunter D and there's sequels and so on, but it has to be the 85 one for me that I would always turn to. Anyway, what have I found this week in terms of retro news? There's been some good stuff around. There's a mention here on CNET.com. This horror movie is so good, I'm almost mad more people haven't seen it. This is the 180 style horror movie that's so authentic you'll swear you've seen it before. It's The House of the Devil, which did come out on VHS for a while and get quite a well-respected release back in, I think it was 2008 or so. But it had the 80s aesthetic. Actually, it had like the late 70s, early 80s aesthetic. Sort of aesthetic I would liken to like the Sentinel and things like that. But it has that slow burn sort of supernatural thing going on. Definitely recommend it. It's a Ty West film, not like other Ty West films you may have seen, but it is well worth a look, and I hugely recommend it. If only for the aesthetics, it does feel like something far older. Over on Oh, I can't say that. En Bremer. Oh, it's Medium. Okay, sorry. So on Medium, N Bremer, BREHMER.medium.com. There's Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead is a perfect end to the 80s horror remake wave. So this was like 1991. When was it? 1990. Yes. This is a remake from 1990 of Night of the Living Dead, directed by Tom Savini. It's got Tony Todd in it. It's got effects by Tom Savini. You can see that it's got Patricia Tallman in it, who also appeared in Babylon 5. I liked Babylon 5. So don't start quoting Spaced at me. So there were some good remakes around the time. There was The Fly from '86. There was The Blob from '88. There's Night of the Living Dead from 1990, which was superb. It respected the original and it built on it in terms of gore and how it was made, and in the production quality of it, rather than trying to massively change things. It did change it, Barbara a bit. It gave Barbara some more balls, more spine, and than she was able to display in the '68 version. But as remakes go, it is excellent. Do give this a try. Give this a watch. It is well worth your time, and it's one of the best remakes that's ever been made. But it's not new. Bear in mind, it was 1990, and because of that, it's better than remakes that are coming out now. I'm gonna say it. I love this stuff. But yeah, that's a great trio of remakes: The Fly, The Blob, and Night of the Living Dead. Watch those back to back. Right, over on movieweb.com, the most talked about horror sequel of its time returns to reignite the chaos on streaming. Of course, you know what that is many of us will know what that is by looking at the image there. That is Halloween 3. And yeah, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch was very, very different. The original intention behind the Halloween movies was not to have Michael Myers as the central protagonist. It was to be like a Twilight Zone, Outer Limits sort of anthology. So each year there would be Halloween with a different thing. However, Michael Myers was so successful in the first one that a sequel was greenlit and rushed into production, which carried on from the first one. And, then it was associated just with Michael Myers. When this was trying to be course corrected in Halloween 3, which was a very effective sci-fi themed horror movie, people didn't get it. They wondered where Michael Myers was, because they'd had two movies with Michael Myers. They expected that to just be how it was. Unfortunately, it wasn't the way. But what he presented here with is a film directed by Tommy Lee Wallace. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is really, really cool. Look up the trailers if you've not seen it. Actually, just watch the movie. Seriously, just watch this film. It is excellent. About a town under the effect of a sinister toy manufacturer who's making Halloween masks that have side effects. But it is very, very, very effective. If you've not seen this, you must watch it. And this piece of it is over on movieweb.com. So a sweet story now that I found on newsweek.com. Woman hadn't heard late grandpa's voice in 22 years, and she finds old VHS. This is the power of tapes, my friends. Oh, I should accept some cookies. I thought I'd done all those before I started recording. So a lady was able to hear again her granddad's voice many years after he passed away, and that is the magic of these things. This was the first era where we were able to capture people that are no longer around now. And I've had experience of this as well with my many years ago with my grandma. My dad found a recording of my grandma's dad, so my great-grandfather, on a reel-to-reel, and played it for her, and she'd not heard that voice in 30 years. And the look on her face was everything. Absolutely wonderful. This is a great use for tapes. This is a great argument for keeping these things around. Do check that out. That's over on Newsweek, and it's a very moving story. Over on nofilmschool.com, there's an interview here about VHS Halloween regarding the Coochie Coo segment, which is one of the trick-or-treating themed segments in the movie, and it's quite a shocker. It's very effective. The pop-ups aren't. Gotta hate pop-ups. What is this, 1999? But once you've watched VHS Halloween, you will understand what's going on. you will understand the power of this piece. But this article here on nofilmschool.com goes into the making of that segment, and it's really, really interesting, going into how they used the limitations and the texture of DV, so digital video, that would be in the time it was the video was the segment was put out, well, designed to be put out. It's really effective use of the limitations of it and how it makes things look. So do check that out on nofilmschool.com. Okay, over on pulpaadl.org, I've got this one. Alive and Well, AADL's Dead Media Day celebrates the past in the digital age. This is the sort of thing I wish I could go to. You know, there's sometimes stuff like this pops up over here, but not very often at all. Seems to be a lot more of this in the States, which I'm really jealous of. So this is an exhibition of dead media. And so you have radios, it's 8 tracks, laser discs, and VHS tapes and stuff. This is a really interesting piece. That's a Mega Drive 2. Oh, sorry, Genesis. Sorry, Genesis for the American ones. But this is a really nice, nostalgic piece. Look back at some formats that are no longer with us and how they've been gathered together in this exhibition, which I'm very jealous about. Do check that out. I've got here on the Dallas Observer, the video crypt lives again, exhuming nostalgia at the Texas Theatre. There is an installation, again, it's like an installation, like a pop-up place, bringing back a video store there, and I'm on board for stuff like that. There's a 9 Deaths of the Ninja poster there. That was a great Sho Kosugi movie, although it was shot like an A-Team episode. What else have we got at the back there? Defcon 4, I'm Your Darkness, Dr. Giggles, Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, and we've also got Creepers, otherwise known as Dario Argento's Phenomena. That's cool. That is really cool. So it's flashback. We've got the Fonda stuff there. A Poison Ivy standee, blimey, with some VHS tapes and other trappings on there. That's, again, a great nostalgia piece for anyone that misses the video rental store era, like I do in my advancing age and madness. So what else have we got here? On the Straits Times, the man who rewinds time, breathing life into old memories. So we've got a guy turning old tapes into timeless treasures, keeping the past alive for his customers one reel at a time. So this is a guy recycling, upcycling, and helping people preserve these things. And look, he's fixing VCRs, fixing tapes. This is an interesting piece that's very different because it's not just about rental. This is about some of the technical background behind these things, and it's a really, really interesting piece. That is on straitstimes.com. So I recommend that greatly. Over on Yahoo, he was nostalgic for retro video stores, so he built one in his Silver Lake kitchen. I cannot build a video store in my kitchen, which is that room there with no door on it, because it's tiny. Be a very small video store with like a microwave and fridge and stuff in it, and the neighbours would be very confused. But this is called Kitchen Video, and this is awesome. I mean, how could I not love that? There's a CRT TV in there, rental area, but what it has there, it has a dinner table. VHS stores, video stores didn't have that, and I always wanted I wanted a video store of my own, or like a rental store, a retro movie store. One day, that had sofas in it, that had chairs, and that was like the damn shop that Cillian Murphy runs in Loving the Detectives. If you've never seen that film, watch it. Underrated gem. With Lucy Liu in it as well, but Cillian Murphy runs a movie store in there, which is just like, it's paradise. I want that place. Do check this out there. That's either on yahoo.com. And a last one for the evening. Pluto TV and Paramount transform Melrose into a retro horror experience with one-day slashback video pop-up. Another pop-up. Okay, we've got another pop-up here, but this is cool. I know the things that I'm interested in are becoming, well, museum exhibits now. That's a really weird feeling, but just a glimpse of it and showing people, being able to show newer generations and remind older generations of how cool this stuff was, is really, really cool. So it's open today, an immersive VHS-inspired art gallery celebrating Halloween season in style. Look at that. You've got a TCN Part 2 cut out there. You've got Creepshow. That is so cool. Do go and check out that piece. That is an interesting little aside. If you want some more nostalgia in your life. That's over on westsidetoday.com. That's the stories I've got for you this week. Next week, hopefully, I should be going to Tape Stock over at the 80s Video Store. Yeah, by the way, sorry there wasn't a video last week. I've been laid up with my ankle and busy with work and life and trying to exist while, moving anywhere hurts. So, I have an ongoing ankle problem which flares up now and again. I've not had a flare up in ages, and this one was awful. So I'm sorry there was no video last week, but I'm hoping to be back out there in action, getting some footage over at Tape Stock in the 80s Video Shop in Alfreton next week. Hopefully, health pending anyway. So look out for that. Also look out for the new VHS-8-My-Brain book, Heavy Metal Horrors, coming soon. Yeah, it's got delayed. Sorry. I got distracted with pain and things, But that is coming soon, and there'll be more news on that in a future episode. Thank you for watching this episode of Planet Hex.